Here I dwell, for I do not live. I am the sleeping dead, a wretched desecrator, a dead thing that rises at night to consume the life of the living and then dies again at dawn, to inter myself in my grave, my mausoleum, to repose in agony as the sacrificial lamb of hell. Some would call my tale legend, but I simply call it the autobiography of a vampire. As my existence drags on, years become decades, decades become centuries. My satisfactions become fewer and fewer, and my lusts have now become mediocre habits. I am ready either to die or to become something else. Though, even after all these years, I cannot imagine what else there really is. I am not dead, but I do not live. I dwell among the dead, and only feel alive when I kill. What is there for me other than this? When I was young, I was a fool, and committed myself to this existence of lust, and now I'm so very old, so very dead, but so committed to an evil I still do not understand, but I endure it out of habit and out of fear, for I fear obscurity, and you see as I am now, at least I am not obscure. I do have a name, though few call me by it. The men I've known prefer a more lurid variety of names to give me, and so, as you heed my tale, you may prefer another name for me than Judas Tutsos Fenar Diabolus. Perhaps I fear obscurity because I was born into it, born to obscure parents whose only product in life was my begetting. They loved me more than any child could hope. They were hard workers, farmers, peasants, and as their only offspring, I matured quite alone, friendless, and illiterate. For those of you born in this modern era of dates, times, facts, and numbers, I was born in Spain in the Gothic 17th century, in a rural no place. I yearned in my fantasies to live in a city, to talk, to be around others, but such was not my destiny. I was destined for obscurity, to be a nobody, a non-entity. Were it not for the intervention of fate, I would have died there in that same century, in that same obscurity. Though sometimes I wonder if such a mediocre fate would not have been more merciful. I remember his coming to our farm. He argued with my father suddenly. He struck my father. He killed my father. My mother fainted, and I fell to my knees beside my dying father, fell to my knees in fear. The man laughed outrageously at me, obscenely shrieking out words I could not understand in a hysterical fit. He laughed the laugh of the undead, spewing blood in a fury. He threw me to a corner with an order to watch him as he destroyed and desecrated the bodies of my parents. I cried as I watched, and then he left. He went out to the front door, shrieking a cry to hell and behaving as a man demented. But he returned. He came to me calm, smiling, and took my hand, led me to his carriage. I then watched as he raised my parents' farm and drove me off into another world. It was only as we entered the courtyard of an enormous castle that it dawned upon me who the man in fact was. He was Prince Rodion Zosimov, a Russian noble in exile. My parents had sometimes spoken in whispers of him, a land-hungry tyrant, a victim of some rare, incurable disease. He ushered me into his macabre home and addressed me angrily.
Why did I bring you here? I cannot remember. Some obscure motive not worth my remembering. Did I see in you for a moment my own son, now thousands of miles away in my homeland? I was a fool if I thought that. You are not of noble birth. You are merely a peasant, not worthy of these words, not worthy of my time, certainly not worthy of my thoughts as I brought you here, whatever those thoughts were. Now get out of here, child. Get out. Get away from me.
Even the eyes of a child born in obscurity could see the man was deranged, insane. His mind was sick. I ran out. I left him standing with his head buried in his hands. He was sobbing and choking. I ran from the castle to the village until an old man saw me and grabbed me.
Boy, come, boy. I heard what the monster said. I will take care of you. Tio Fernando will take care of you.
He was a silversmith in the service of Prince Zosimov. He lived in a shack, a hovel. But what little he had, he shared with me. He fed me, gave me shelter and warmth. He taught me how to read, how to write, and all the ways of silver and the laws of his craft. One day, Zosimov recognized me and was amused. After he departed, I cried like the child I was. But the old man would not hear me speak ill of Zosimov, for he told me that the very air had ears. Though he would not let me speak ill of the prince, he knew that one day I would attempt to take Zosimov's life. I grew to manhood, still thirsting for revenge despite the old man's pleas. And finally, old Fernando the silversmith died at 77, and there was now no restraining influence upon me. I took my pistol, loaded it with silver bullets, and set out after my parents' murderer, after Zosimov himself. As the sun's rays died in the western sky, I gathered my courage and walked the steps of the castle, the same castle I had fled so many years ago, the same castle whose shadow I had grown up in. Once inside, I found Zosimov easily. He was not hiding from me. Indeed, it seemed he had been waiting for me all these long years.
So the prodigal son returns, still a little boy with a pop gun.
I am no longer a boy, and this is no pop gun. I mean to kill you.
So the years have hardened you, not softened you. Good. Well then, go ahead. Kill me.
I need this pointless dialogue even less than I need your permission to pull this trigger.
It is not a matter of permission, lad. I invite you to fire upon me. Take my life if you desire it so.
As I fired directly into his brain, he smiled. He did not for a moment flinch. His head seemed to partly shatter, to blow apart. But within a moment of impact, the tissues reformed, and bone restructured itself. The skin became scarred and then scabby, and then even that fell away, and his head was once again as whole and complete as it had been only a minute before.
Where are your brave words now, boy? You look at me in wonderment, so you should. What you've witnessed, boy, can only be called a miracle of evil, the immortality of a vampire, and that it's only one among many miracles that is a vampire's heritage. Now, I will not take revenge upon you, but instead, I will tempt tempt your lust, tempt your ambitions? Would you continue as you are now, a nothing, an obscure fool, to toil and die in misery, in obscurity? A frail human who will exist a few years only to wither away? Or would you like a taste of power, to know wealth and riches and an insatiable lust? Would you like to be as I am? Would you like to be a vampire?
Yes.
Yes, to what?
Yes. Yes, God damn my soul to hell. I would become as you. Become a vampire.
Very well. Then kneel down and accept my gift. Now rise, child of the undead. You are as you lust. You are a vampire.
Thank you, monster, for this gift. And to demonstrate my gratitude, I shall take your wretched life.
I plunged the silver dagger into his unbeating heart and watched him disintegrate into dust. Long centuries of evil and corruption catching up with him at last. I went to see him, to kill him, and nothing would have prevented me from that act. That he gifted me this accursed existence was incidental. That he tempted me and I sold my mortal soul was incidental. But by that incident, I became a somebody. I left obscurity behind and entered a new kind of life. Now, centuries later, I regret accepting that awful gift, for you see, I'm forced into hiding in the common graveyard, forced to pursue a lust that is now simply a grotesque habit. And now, I regret that I was ever reborn.
His origin told, the vampire Judas Diabolus retreats to his crypt. The dawn is upon the graveyard, thus imposing limits on his time to tell his tales. But as each little fragment of his story is told, a new face of vampirism will come to our attention, a new portrait of what happens when a peasant wants to be a prince.